entire routine.
I see a faggot ass. Hey, faggot.
Yeah.
You're getting pulled over by a faggot cop.
Yes.
There's no siren. There's just a faggot on the roof going,
right.
pull over.
Yeah. I mean, literally.
Bit.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm having a bad flashback right now. And so, I mean, it was like.
You're loved.
It was, no, it's good.
Look at this.
It's good. And Eddie Murphy got pulled over with a tranny. You know,
beautiful justice.
So there you go.
Karmic justice.
I mean, did you think I
so
thought
what was
that
going
that
on?
No, so I freaked out. Basically, I was on shrooms, and I'm sitting there, and 20,000 people are laughing at faggot jokes, including my friends who I'm with, and I was sitting there, and I knew that I was gay, but I really didn't think at that time. It was 1985, the year that this happened, and I didn't think there was any possibility that I would ever come out of the closet. I thought that I would. I guess I thought that I would never get married, or that I would just marry a woman and it would be, you know, what it was, and it wouldn't be good. But so that was where my mindset was. And I certainly felt like my family would never accept me if I came out. I mean, it was like, if you were gay, you died of AIDS and you were shunned. Like, that was my mind. I didn't, you know. So anyway, that night I left in the middle and just went and sat in a stall in the bathroom and was sitting there just drenched. I was wearing a pink button-down polo shirt, ironically, pink. But anyway, and I mean, it was just bad. It was just that was the first time that I was anywhere in public where, because, you know, you would be at the school and your friends would say fag all the time or whatever to other people.
Be fag.
Yeah, exactly. And it was fine. That I could handle. But this was the first time that I was like, oh my God, this is what I am, and I can't be this. And I was on shrooms. It was terrible. And, you know, I tried to do shrooms. I said in the book I never did shrooms again, which is kind of true. I tried to do them like
kind of true.
10 years later or less.
On Fire Island, different scenario.
No, not actually on Shelter Island, on another island.
A gay island.
And it was bad. And it was like, I just couldn't shake it. I was like, this feeling is not. I'm never going to be able to do shrooms.
Just can't shake
crime
this
for me
feeling anymore.
Yeah. Do you have to pay rights when you?
No, I think you get 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
We've looked into it.
I get less on my show.
Really?
Yeah,
maybe
I think so.
TV.
You
Podcast
started
is
to
new.
sing something on my show, and I was like watching you singing it. I was wondering how long it was going on because it was live. Because I produce while I'm sitting in the chair.
You wear two
hats.
hats.
So I was sitting there and I was looking at him and I was thinking, oh my God, are we going to have to edit this out for re-airs? And then you stopped and I was like, oh my God, that was perfect.
Because I had that 30-second clock in my head.
Yeah.
I was producing at the same time because I'm scheming for your job. I want to be your Jay Leno to Carson.
Exactly.
Remember what I said to you at the clubhouse? I'm like,
you did.
You need to take a few days off while I'm in town, buddy.
That's right. Jay hosted my show. Jay's the only other person to host my show.
If there's another
when
host,
I was gone.
I will be upset. Unless it's like Broderick, like a close friend, or Consuelo. I know you guys are really friends.
Here's the thing. I don't think there will be. Well, let me tell you this. If I get deathly ill and you're in New York City,
I'll fly out to do it.
Right. No,
I would get a red eye in a minute to
Right.
guest host Watch What Happens Live. It's the most,
Thank
for the
you.
listeners, it's exactly as fun as you think it is.
That's
like when you
nice.
think, like, I wonder what happens behind the scenes. I'll tell you what happens. When you walk into that tiny studio that's
Right.
the size of Andy's den in real life,
right.
they're playing Snoop or like Parliament Funk.
Right.
People have cocktails. There's an audience of like 14.
Yeah.
They're contest winners or Bravo super fans.
Yeah.
And then they just go, and 5, 4.
Right.
And Andy goes, all right. And you hear Jenny Poulos going, Andy, 411.
Yeah.
And you just get happy because it's visceral. That's
Yeah.
like your life. And you're
Yeah.
usually you're watching it at home.
Yeah.
But suddenly you're in the party, man.
That's right.
You're not at the party.
That's
you're
right.
in the party.
You're in it. But the cool thing is when you're watching it at home, you're kind of in the party too. I think that's one of the things that, I mean, but it's fun to be there.
But that's you. That comes from the head of the snake. There's a lot of people in that job that you can put up a bit of a distance. I think you have to check ego at the door to do that job as well as you're doing it, because I think anyone else in the hosting chair wearing the hosting and producing hat, they sort of want to be a little higher and seem a little more important to increase the Q rating,
Right.
whatever it is,
Right.
or let themselves feel a little more important.
Right.
I'm a little more famous.
That's
whereas
funny because
you
I
dial
feel
it all the way
inferior
down.
to my. I always feel like I'm the least important person in the room.
Well, I think that's what a good host should feel like.
Yeah.
Like, I'm certainly the least important person at this table because you have the best-selling book and the hot show, and without Dave, this isn't being recorded.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, right. There
so
you
without
go.
Dave,
There
you
go.
and I are just talking
Right.
in your cab to go talk to Rihanna.
Right.
Andy's like, Kev,
someone
please.
was just texting me recently saying you really need to move to a big studio and you need to think about it and whatever. And I was like, dude, you don't get it. It's Wayne's World and it has to stay this way.
Excellent.
No,
Party
right.
time. Peggy's Orange.
Don't go over 30 seconds. You're going to be
right.
Lord Michaels.
How about
to
the
check.
amount of tweets I got after I was on Watch What Happens Live this past time? And I said, last time I was here, I sat next to that orange lady. It was Peggy, what's her name?
Thanos. Oh, and she tweeted too.
And everyone's like, I'm
and
Team
Brandy
Peggy.
tweeted.
And at one point I just wrote, are you guys high?
Right.
Because it's like, because when you keep retweeting and answering, eventually you, like, people are answering. There's like now 6 names at the at, and it's Peggy and it's Brandy. And they're like, yeah, he's just jealous. And somebody said, he's obsessed with you because he keeps bringing you up. That's when I had to go in and go, are you guys high?
Right.
Like, that was an off the cuff.
Right.
I didn't write it down in my cliff notes.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the bullet points in the
Yes.
monitor. Make sure you tag Peggy.
Right.
I was just sitting next to Kyle Richards
Who
and I
hasn't
thought
been
of
on
Peggy.
the show for 2 seasons.
Who's not orange. Right. Kyle's not orange.
Right.
She's white colored.
Right. Yes, she's white colored.
You at a very young age, and I have shared this with you, felt the need and the importance of being recorded.
Uh-huh.
You recorded you and your friends playing board games.
Yes, that's right.
Which is so mind-numbingly boring to think
God.
about.
It was so boring to listen to. I couldn't believe.
We used to record sports. We'd open the sports page and tape record ourselves talking about basically Sports Center before Sports Center.
This podcast before.
Yeah,
if it was about sports, right?
But I mean, that at least was specific. Like Derek Jeter did this, and this guy and Reggie Jackson.
Yes.
But you guys were literally rolling the dice, going 4, 1, 2, 3,
Oh my God!
4.
So
and what I
boring.
loved is your honesty in the book of it was exactly as boring as you might think it was when you listen back to it.
Exactly,
But that knowing that to be recorded is important.
Right.
At a young age.
Right. Yes.
That's something so few people, I think, can comprehend. And you have to find that tape recorder. You have to record conversations with your sister in the back of the car driving to Sarasota.
That's right.
You are compelled to do the play-by-play.
Yes.
There's no other job for you than what you're doing now.
Yes. It's true. It's so crazy that it took 20 years or about 18 years of a TV and career. I've now been in TV for 22 years. That for 18 years of it, I was fully behind the scenes, not in front of the camera. So it's so wild that now this started.
You're like the big star.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's just cool that I wound up.
Well, you do know you're the big star. You might think you're the least important person.
Well,
but you think you're the least important person in the clubhouse, but you have to certainly have the wherewithal to realize I'm kind of a big star.
I don't think that. I just think it's my show,
You're very personable. You're very nice. My wife and I call you Uncle Andy. We made you
like
uncle of our son Meredith immediately, who rocked the Mazel onesie. In St. Louis.
I love St. Louis.
You always had a flair for the dramatic, like I said, including having a funeral for your bird.
Pork chop. Yes, I had a funeral for my bird, which really became a vehicle for me to get my neighbors to bring candy to me. And my mother was photographing it like the freaking paparazzi.
So your mom she fed off your, in a way.
Oh, totally.
Dramedy.
We fed off each other.
Really?
Totally. I mean, I used to provoke her. I lived to provoke a response out of her that, I remember once I came to the table and I was like, the dinner table, so Richard Nixon died. They're like, what? Richard Nixon died?
You
My
broke
mom's
that
like,
story
what?
In your own home?
No, but it was a lie. He wasn't dead. I just wanted to see what would happen if I said it. I just like to provoke her. And she'd be like, what? Richard Nixon died? What? When? Get up. Well, she's going to go turn the TV on. Like, what's happened? I'm like, just kidding. She's like, you're kidding? Is that funny? Like, what about that is funny to you? I'm like, I just wanted to see what you would do.
We're St. Louis Democrats. I thought it'd be right up your alley.
Yeah, right. No. We never wished for
Nick's
death.
uncle was two-time mayor of Florissant.
Florissant, Missouri?
Uncle Sonny.
No way. Wow.
2-time.
Wow.
And he goes, he's got a little bit of a lisp, and he goes, it's some kind of thing. He has a mouth system.
Okay, I like it.
He goes, I'm the only guy that ever balanced the budget. And I go, how did you do it? He goes, well, there's an emergency fund in the budget of every city. And I figured, well, this much in debt, babe, I don't know what other emergency you're waiting for, so I just took all the money out of the emergency fund and didn't tell anybody. They thought I was a genius. And he goes, I would have gotten a third term if I didn't punch a guy out on the city hall steps. And I'm like, what? Like, what a story.
Florissant, Missouri. Wow.
So we're at his house. We're at Sonny's house in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And the guy comes over to fix the air conditioner. And Sonny's like, can I get you a like, basically, like, making the guy a ham.
Yeah.
And, like, roast potatoes. Like, whatever you want, babe. Like, rubbing his neck. And the guy leaves. And he goes, that's the guy that testified that I didn't punch the guy in the face in the courthouse steps. And Nick's mom goes, I was wondering why you're being so fucking solicitous to the air conditioning man. Basically, this guy just perjured himself. Like, I saw the whole thing. Sonny never touched anybody. He's lying.
Did I forget that Nick is from Florissant, Missouri?
No, her mother is.
Okay.
Her whole family is.
Oh, wow.
Memphis and St. Louis.
That. Wow. Oh, okay. Okay, now it's ringing a bell.
You, so... The funeral for the bird.
Yes.
Walk us through exactly. Is there like a bird little casket?
Yeah, I made a little casket out of wood. Yeah, I made hammers and nails. I think I had a little shop downstairs that I never used that ostensibly was, like maybe was the last exit on Hetero Highway that I didn't take the exit. I just went by the shop. But I think I hammered up a little box that was jaunty, and my neighbor Sam Ubel and I dug up a little hole in the yard, and we let the neighbors know. We were big. It was so sweet. I feel like I grew up in Pleasantville, actually. It was so sweet, and it was just a different time, and you would just disappear after school, and you just come home when it was dark, and you knew it was dinner time. And
I think it's so great.
A nice place. And all the neighbors would get together. You'd play kickball, or you'd, do this and run around, and it was just fun.
You had a very strange fear growing up, and that was your father had the most horrifying words he would ask you intermittently throughout your entire childhood. Yes, the 3 words
after dinner that I would dread, and I would feel them coming on like a baby coming out of a pregnant lady, which was, want to play catch? And I'd be like, oh my God. I never wanted to play catch. I mean, it was like I just so did not want to play catch. And my mom would be like, just play catch with him. She would implore me to play catch with my dad. And it's so funny because now I like a game of catch. I'll play catch now.
You and Modine, you and Broderick on
oh, we did on
March around. Yeah.
Matthew taught me a little. Matthew prepped me for throwing out a first pitch.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking
at Busch Stadium. Quite nerve-wracking.
Jim Jeffries was on this podcast, great Australian and British comic. He said, "It's when you go out there holding the ball, it's like you're holding cancer."
Yes.
You're just holding cancer.
True.
And everyone's just looking, and it's dripping.
It's so true.
And it's not the right temperature.
And you're literally, at some point, you get there, and you're like, I got to get this fucking thing out of my hand. Like, you have to expel it.
Did you bounce it?
No, I did not bounce it. The whole thing was... Well, you have a sports crowd that listens to this show, right?
Yeah, 250,000, I would say 80,000 are sports.
Right. Okay. Well, all I want to say is I'm a huge St. Louis Cardinals fan all my life. It's the only, people are like,
another window on the Hetero Highway that you browse at.
Exactly.
But that one you shop at.
And I still am. I'm a full-time shopper at this place.
Heterosexual place.
Yes, I totally am. I love it. But I don't like any other team. I don't like any other sports. I'll watch a football game. I'll watch the Super Bowl, Madonna halftime, whatever. But... so the Cardinals, great. And so I get to throw the first pitch, and I ask everybody. I ask Matthew Broderick. I ask Seinfeld, Bob Costas. Everybody says, whatever you do not throw from the top of the mound.
Yeah.
Throw from in front of the mound.
Yeah.
Because if you go to the top of the mound, you're not used to it. It's higher than you think. You're going to bounce the ball, and if you bounce the ball, basically... just go kill yourself because you're fucked. Like, you cannot ever bounce the ball.
Self-immolate on the mound like a monk.
Exactly. And so before we went, I remember my mom was showing me videos of George Bush throwing out the first pitch, which was the first time she ever showed me use George W. Bush as an example of, look how good he did it. You know what I mean? Like that, because she wasn't a big George W. fan. But anyway, so I go to Busch Stadium, and my dad is like, show me your form. Show me your form. And I'm showing him how I throw it. He's like, you're pushing the ball. You have no follow through. Like
You're aiming.
Right. Like
People tell you weird things.
Right, exactly.
You're
so
aiming.
anyway,
Don't aim. You're like, what do you mean don't aim?
right. So I go down
Have
to
to hit
do
a target.
it. Right. Yeah, exactly. I think I know where I have to. I go there. I'm on the field. I'm waiting to go, and there are these these little league kids on the field that are doing something, some pregame something, but whatever they're doing it from the top of the mound. And I'm like, holy shit, these little peewee kids are doing stuff from the top of the mound. I can't run out there.
60 feet, 6 inches.
I was like, I can't run out there and not do this. And I was there with my nephew and my